Hey everybody, guess who's back? Welcome back everybody to the garage. Yes, winter cold weather has fallen upon us here in Minnesota, and it's time to come up to the garage. It does have a bonus. It's heated, it has a concrete floor, and it's much closer to the cold snacks and pizza rolls. So there is still quite a bit of work to do, as you can see by lack of doors, but we are going to work on getting the rocker, panel, dogleg, rear door, rusty, crusty stuff taken care of. We did that last winter, long time ago. On the driver's side, get that all cleaned up, and really I want to take a push to get this thing in primer. I've got that contour tool now, the SCT tool from Harbor Freight. I'm going to finish taking the finish off the roof. We've got a few minor bodywork things to do back around the trunk and taillight areas, and just clean up the rest of the surfaces here because we've gotten a little bit of surface rust on them over the summer, just from the elements. I had planned to get it in primer a whole lot sooner than now, but I think it is time to get that wrapped up so we can move on to, hopefully, come springtime, getting some paint on it. Before I forget, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below if you're new. And if you've been here before and haven't done that yet, why not? Doesn't cost anything, about 2 seconds of your time. Also, like the video. It lets the good old YouTube gnomes we've got good content over here and shares it out to more people. Alrighty, so this is our area we're working with today. If you haven't seen the video from the driver's side, go ahead and check that out, or just watch this because it's very similar, only in reverse. But hopefully I've learned a little bit since that side and can get this side done a little bit quicker. So basically I reached out to EMS Automotive last year and found that they have the supposed to be original dies for stamping out these panels and patches, and they're pretty good, but there's a little bit of room that I had to do some fabrication to make things fit better. Anyways, we have our dog leg here. It goes back in here, tucks under the panel here, which, okay, cool. And also there's some damage farther back here. It looks like it caught something metal and scraped a hole, scraped a big old slice in here. So I've got to cut this out as well back here. Not today, some other day. And then this top plate, a lot of it is good, but from here back is pretty much trash. So I've got a new one here, and this actually cuts out, tucks in behind here. So again, we've got some more finagling, and there's a little extra up here, so a little bit of cutting and fitting to go there. And then our actual outside rocker, which fits down here. Also a little long. That's what leads me to believe there's a little bit of discrepancies in the stamping. So again, it's going to be a whole lot better than what's on here now. So that's where we're at for the parts that you can see. There is also some area back here, which appears to be, yeah, maybe not. I was going to say in better shape than the driver's side, but it's kind of rusty as well. And I'm just going to take some plate, you know, 18, 22 gauge, and just run it inside here, hit some rust protector, rust converter on the material in here, because from experience, you're not going to sand that out. You're not going to grind it out. So do what we can there just to get some decent metal to weld to. Then of course we have our chrome trim goes down here. I don't know that I'm going to send all these parts off to the chromer, because at the end of the day, from what I found out with the Plymouth and the Challenger, just a couple of bumpers are $2,000. I got 2 bumpers, a bunch of these chrome stuff, the whole hood assembly. I'm going to be into the chrome for $8,000, which for a car I paid $700 for, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, let me go ahead, stop yapping, get set up, grab my tools, and we'll work on getting this old stuff cut out. Also, the good parts about working in the garage, the fan. I'll be glad down in the shop once we've got our floor with radiant heat. No more fan noise. Anyways, the first thing I've got to do is go ahead, take my little sander thingamajiggy and sand in through here, because there are spot welds that I've got to try and get out. I think the other side I just ended up cutting this whole area out, mainly because it was so rusted and just deteriorated that it really wasn't worth it. Other thing real quick, it's been off camera in most of the other videos, but good old, call it my crash cart for better terms. It's all my metalworking stuff, my grinders, clamps, my pinch welder, my stud welder, my cutting shears, just a whole bunch of other tools and stuff. I got my nibbler, I've got a edge roller, chisel, just a nice rolling cart to have all my metal stuff on. I've got a grinder for each purpose, wire wheel, strip disc, cutoff wheel, or grinding wheel, cutoff wheel, and flap disc. So all Harbor Freight. Yeah, I think everything on this table, with the exception of the Clecos from my father and the metal shears from the home store from a project long ago, is all from Harbor Freight here. So, way to go. Anyways, enough for the non-sponsored ads. Let's go ahead and get this stuff sanded off and see what we can do. Well, okay. I don't see a lot here for spot welds, so it may just be getting cut out with my air chisel. We'll see. Yeah, so I know I've got this area here that gets cut out, and this stuff all comes out, but this area, I think I may end up having to cut it out and recreate it anyways, because there's no real, yeah, that's just falling apart. Look at that. It's already half gone. I do need to keep this bracket right here because that's where the wheel skirt connects into, so I'll be sure to keep that. Let me just grab a different grinder and just start cutting, because I don't think trying to be dainty about it's going to get it done. You can see what I'm trying to do here is move or remove the seam or spot welds here between the inner and outer panels, so I could remove the bad metal and slip the new dog leg in. And we're just not really having a lot of good luck with that. You can see a lot of this material is, especially the outer skin, is pretty deteriorated. So I think I may end up doing what I did on the driver's side and just cutting out the bad metal and starting over. as I was saying, that didn't work. I was hoping I could have separated the 2 layers, but the older stuff or outer stuff is just, it's just deteriorating. So what I'm gonna end up doing is cutting off this old outer layer here. I mean, this is new thick metal. Anyways, I'm not terribly worried about putting a second layer in there or pinching it in. It's just, it is what it is. It's an old car. It's not gonna be, you know, show car perfect, Sunday church car. Anyways, I cut this old stuff out, fit this new dog leg in here, and get it lined up in our door reed hong, just so I can adjust this and make sure it's going to fit in and maintain the gap along the door here. So that's what I'm going to do, and hopefully we'll be closer to having it fit. All right, well, I went ahead and did quite a little bit of fiddling, faddling, grinding, cutting to get this in place where it's, I think, as close as it's going to be. I did go ahead and start cutting out this back damaged area too. Of course, it's rusted all the way through, but we're going to just put a nice, happy, pretty face on this and undercoat the backside with some rust encapsulator and call it good. Why? Because we're not doing a frame off restoration. And yeah, no. So the important part is I got this part fit up where it goes. I had to trim off some of the actual stamping bit in here to get the contour right. And now it fits in where it should go. It is marked where I'm going to weld it in. So I'm going to put just a tack or 2 on here to hold it. And then I can go ahead and get the rest of this stuff down here kind of formed and put into where it should go. So let's go grab my welder and get to it. Now, I'm kind of bummed I don't have 220 up here in the garage. But until we go through a potential kitchen remodel and swap out electric for gas range, I'm kind of stuck with 110. Alrighty, well, that dog leg is in there. It's good and tacked in for right now. And I don't want to weld it in solid. I mean, I don't plan to take it out again. But on the event that I do for some strange reason, it's not going to be too hard to get out. I could think only if I need to trim off down here a little bit. That'd be about the only thing I can think of, but at least there's a little bit of flexibility and pliability so I can get this top cap in here and whatnot. So let's just start tearing this apart. Now in this area, I know I have spot welds. I can see them right in here. So I'm going to work on drilling those out. And this is just going to get cut out. Really, this whole section is just going to be cut out. And there's some spot welds down here, but as we can see, there's not much there, so I'm not too concerned. So this area here is still solid as a rock. So I'm gonna just kind of measure how long this piece needs to be. Kind of base it off this. And then it tucks back in here. But for now, yeah, I'm gonna work on cutting probably from right here at this B-pillar seam here and down, get rid of the spot welds, and then around the back here. And hopefully this area is going to come out pretty easily. I see welds down here, so that's just going to get cut. Yeah, we're gonna start making a mess. Oh, the combination of drilling out some spot welds and air hammering the few that I couldn't see. There we go. Not too bad. A little bit of cleanup to do, pound some of these edges back flat. Of course, like I said, this is kind of bad. I will get some plating back in there, and well, it's another case of we're just going to hit some rust encapsulator on it and call it good, because I'm quite certain that this is going to outlast me, either my lifespan or owning it. And again, it's not a nut and bolt restoration. If I had endless money and a lift and a rotisserie and a heated shop, maybe. But let's go ahead. I want to figure out, I got some more cleanup to do back here so I can fit this top cap in here. Then we'll see. But this piece here, he tucks in here. So he's got to get some trimming. And then, like I said, this cap tucks in here under this plate. So there's some material here. It's got to get cut off yet. But then that should fit in nicely as well. So I'm going to clean that up because, well, you can't see it. And it's going to be boring to do, so it's going to be even more boring to watch. Okay, well, the door is sitting in the jam right now, just of its own friction and weight, I guess. I got the pieces pretty well mocked up where they go. You can see, and they're kind of flimsily hanging in here now, but that's okay. Let's try and get the door off of here quick. Okay, so as I said, I had to do some trimming. I measured off of the old pieces, and we're on this top cap about, well, if I would have cut right on my line, I would have been about 3/8 of an inch short. So I went over a hair. I'll be able to fill that in and make that work. No big deal. The bottom piece here looks good. That pretty much butts up where it should go. It's just held in here right now with the friction and a body hammer, and then a goofy clamp down here. So what I'm going to do now is mark my couple of good spots. I had to shift everything up about 3/8 of an inch to catch this contour on the door. Now we've got that. I'm going to mark an OK mark here and put one back here too, so I've got a few points of reference. Those are bad. We don't care about those. This piece here, I'm going to mark so we know that lines up with that. And now what I've got to do, take this apart and work on framing in or putting a filler under here on the inner rocker that was rusted away. So you saw me do that stuff on the other side. If not, there's a video on it somewhere, maybe up here, who knows. But I'm just going to go ahead and get everything here prepped, ready to come back and weld in. And then we'll buzz through that and wrap this up. Okay, well, we have done quite a bit of fiddling and finagling and putzing and futzing to get this in, or at least it's mocked up. We've got clecos in here, we've got clamps in here, we've got our plug welds drilled, all of our lines are set up and marked. So all goes well, this should fit up to the door when it goes back on. Like I said, the only thing I didn't like was this gap here from where I marked the old piece. And again, if I had cut at my mark, I would have been off a little over 3/8 short. So what I'm going to start doing is just tacking in a couple of these plugs and go into a nice little coma-inducing time lapse, and we'll come back. We'll have this thing all done, and leaving us with just a little bit of metal work to do in the corner behind me here. There is some rust, so I do have some material to fill back in down here. So I'll probably just take a little patch, and we'll probably do that next video when I work on this other section behind me here that needs to get patched as well. But for now, let's stop talking and start welding. Alrighty, well, we've got the base of the work done. I think I'm getting a sunburn now. Weld burn. Anyways, we got most of the work done. I've got a little bit of finish work left to do, a few more plug welds to hit, this front corner clean up, and of course just go through and grind down all of my plug welds, cover it with seam sealer. But I'm going to do all of that at the same time that I wrap up this little back edge here with some metal work and the rest of this rear quarter panel. And we're going to get into that in the next video, along with hopefully the rest of the metal work in the next couple of videos here in the 52 to get us ready to put the rest of it in primer. It's been waiting for too long and there's not much left to do. It's just been time. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you all very soon in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.